fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Donatello, Michelangelo, Leonardo, and Raphael from the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem line from Playmates. So this is the new movie that's coming out in August, and all of the toys are street dated for today, so they just came out today. I went over to Target this morning and grabbed these. I still don't know how I feel personally about, the animation style and everything for the movie. I'm sure I'll see it eventually because I just love Turtles stuff, but Playmates still always makes really nice toys, and these really look good, so even if I'm not that excited about the movie, I'm excited about the new toys for the movie because I think they actually look pretty great. Packaging looks really, really fun and colorful. You have some nice artwork here of the character. And then it looks like they're just loaded out with accessories, which is really cool. So we have, obviously, their signature weapons. Looks like you get kind of like a little baby turtle there, a pre-mutation turtle. And then you have the, usual kind of like sprue kit weapon rack thing with all the additional accessories, which is pretty cool. Then they have some kind of giant sticker in here telling you who's inside, so not sure about that. And then over here on the back, we have the cross-sell that we're used to. Although the interesting thing is that this is not pictures of the toys, this is the pictures of them from the movie. So, of course, we have the four turtles, Splinter, Rocksteady, Bebop, Superfly, and Leatherhead. So, pretty cool. I think the packaging looks pretty great for these. Very, very typical for Playmates stuff, but I'm excited for it. So, we have the four turtles here. I'm going to go ahead and get them all out of the packaging, and we'll take a closer look. So here are the four turtles out of the packaging. As you can see, they come with a ton of accessories. I guess we'll just go from left to right. So we'll start here with Raphael. And honestly, these are pretty solid little figures. I really like these a lot. I like the detailing. I really kind of like the dark lines around the eyes and the teeth really make them pop. I think that looks good. I like the belts. Kind of a throwback to the original with the individual letters there on their belt buckles, but they also kind of have some updates, like little extra pouches and things. Just kind of a really neat design. Shells, normal, not really much going on there. You got the belt that goes all the way around. And just all in all, they're pretty solid. So articulation-wise, they all have the same articulation. We have ball joints for the head, so you get a pretty good range of motion. You can look side to side. You can even kind of tilt side to side, so really nice ball joint there. You have hinges and rotations here in the shoulder. You have a hinge and a rotation in the elbow. You have a wrist swivel. Now, the hips are not my favorite. I wish they were ball joints, but they're just kind of hinges and swivels just like the shoulder. So you can't really get much in terms of kicking forward, unfortunately, because of the way the front of their shells come down. But you can rotate it, and then you can kind of kick out to the side. But it would be nicer if they were just ball joints. It's not a huge deal breaker. I just don't really like action figure hips like this. We've seen it before with Spin Master, and I think a lot of Hasbro's vintage collection for Star Wars have legs like this. And I'm just not a huge fan of those kinds of joints. I like ball joints for hips, but again, not a deal breaker. You have a hinge and a swivel here at the knee, and then you actually get an ankle swivel. Now, it's not a ball joint or anything, so you can't get any kind of ankle tilt, but I just thought it was neat. I was not expecting to get any kind of swivel there in the ankle, so that's pretty cool. I think that's actually really nice. I mean, these figures are $10, so I feel like for all the articulation, it's not a ton of paint applications, I will admit. I mean, I guess at first I thought the bandanas were different colored plastic, but they actually might be paint. It's mostly just colored plastic, but even still, I mean, all the accessories, the articulation, they look sharp. You can see he's got his two sai here. They fit pretty easily into the hand, and they're not going to fall out anytime soon, which I appreciate. And then, of course, you can store them in the belt. So pop that down there, and we'll go ahead and pop this one in here. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to replicate, the pose where he puts them in between the fingers because they're very, very thick in the middle, but I didn't really expect that anyway. But yeah, you can store them there on the belt. It's a solid little figure. Honestly, for $10, I'm very happy with this. I will say sometimes getting them to stand is a little difficult because the shells make them ridiculously back heavy. So you kind of just have to find the right distribution of the weight. But they can stand. And then here's the weapons rack. So again, very retro styling here. You can see that you're supposed to break these off and then you can kind of peg them around. I don't usually do that, but I wanted to show off what comes. So you get two ninja stars here. You have a little kunai over here. You have a canister of ooze. And then you have this weapon that I'm not familiar with the name, but you get 2 of them. And then you get a gray slice of pizza. I would not recommend eating the gray pizza. But yeah, it's cool. I like it. Like I said, it's a little weapons rack, very reminiscent of the original 80s toys. I think that's a really cool inclusion. And then they also get a like super tiny pre-mutated little turtle. I mean, there's no paint or anything on this. It's very basic, but I like it a lot. I think it's fun. I like the little expression on the face. That's really fantastic. So, honestly, to get a pretty nicely detailed and painted figure with tons of accessories and a little turtle for $10, I don't think you're going to find a better deal. Maybe Jazzware's 4-inch figure line, because they're about the same price. But that's about it. These are really solid figures for what they are. Next up, we have Leo, who is my personal favorite, both of these figures and just in general when it comes to the turtles. Again, really like the black paint used for the mouth and the eyes. Really makes those head features and details pop. You have some stars here on the belt. They do not come off, but they're just nice detail. You got the buckle here. You got the L. This one I feel like is the one that's like most reminiscent of the original Playmates toys. Got the blades here. Again, fit very nicely into the hand. Now, for these weapons, I think they were all done in gray, and then the brown parts were painted on, which, you know, is the part that goes into the hand. So I'm hoping that paint doesn't rub off in the future. But then, of course, you can go ahead and pop his blades onto the back there. But yeah, he's just a really solid looking figure. I like this one a lot. I mean, I like all of them, don't get me wrong. All 4 of them are really cool. But I think Leo might be my favorite of the 4. And then his weapons rack, they all have different weapons racks, so you all get different accessories. He comes with 3 kunai there. Again, a gray piece of pizza, 1 throwing star, this little blade over here, and then the canister of ooze. So I think it's cool that they have different accessories. Like, they didn't just put the same weapons rack in all 4 of them. That's a really nice detail there. And then the turtles are like a slightly different shade. I think they're all the same mold. I don't think they're different. I don't know. The heads are a little different. I'll have to compare the 4 of them together at the end. But they match the shade of the turtle. So Raph and Leo are very, very similar, as you can see. He's a little bit like brighter green. But Donny and Mikey are definitely more of a difference in terms of the shade of green. So let's go ahead. We'll move on now to Donatello. He's got the giant glasses, which I didn't really think I was going to like at first, but it's grown on me. I'm kind of enjoying him having the ridiculous glasses. He's got a second belt. He's got this fanny pack with the phone here, I guess, so he can record while he's jumping around. The phone is not removable. I thought for a second it might be, but it's not coming apart. And then he's got the bow staff here, of course. And this can go ahead and pop onto the back here as well. And it fits very snugly, not falling off anytime soon. So that's really cool. And then he's just got the same, like I said, they all have the exact same articulation. So I'm not going to roll through it. He can get a little bit higher with his leg, though. I think just because the shell area for him is a little bit thinner than it was for Raph. So he can get a little bit better in terms of kick. And they do have peg holes on the bottom of their feet, I'm assuming for, you know, play sets or vehicles that are upcoming. Now, he also comes with a pair of headphones, but the headphones do not really work. His head's too wide. They just kind of immediately pop off because you have to kind of stretch them. So I don't get the inclusion of these, and I feel like he's got the smallest head of any of them, so they're not going to work with anyone else. So I don't really get the inclusion of the headphones there, but they are included. Maybe you can use them for a different action figure. They don't really work here. He has got this long spear here on the side. Again, a canister of ooze, a throwing star, a pizza, and then this weapon whose name escapes me. I also think it's interesting that both Leo and Raph come with the gray plastic weapons racks, whereas Donny and Mikey have the kind of more orange like the original toys from the 87 did. This is kind of the color. It was a little bit more brown, but this is closer to the color from back in the day, and I'm not sure why it's not uniform. Like, I would be fine if they're all gray or if they're all orange. I mean, I'm fine with it as it is, but I just think it's interesting to do, you know, half in one color, half in the other color. There's not really any rhyme or reason to it. And then here is Donnie's little turtle. Maybe the heads are slightly different, but otherwise, I really think they're all pretty much the same. But I do love these little turtle guys. They're very fun. And then last but not least, we have Michelangelo. I really like his color combination. They always give him this kind of darker forest green with the orange, and I always think it looks so good. This shade of green with the orange always really works. I like his head sculpt again. Really nice detailing there. He's got the ball joint so he can kind of tilt side to side, move around. Now, I will say the one thing I'm not a huge fan of is the way they did his nunchucks. They're both locked in this really weird chain configuration. They fit into his hand fine, but I think I would have rather this maybe been at more of like a 45-degree angle or something. But the reason I think they did this was so that they could fit on the belt on the back. But they're not even really that successful at that either. Like, you can definitely just pop one of these in. It's kind of a softer rubber, so you can definitely pop that on there. But this kind of hangs out, and if you try to push it in to get it to fit, it doesn't want to stay, and it pops out pretty easily. So, I don't know. They look fine, I guess, just having him hold them, and he can hold them fairly easily, so that's not an issue. They just don't store great on the back, and I just think this weird configuration, you know, just wasn't the best option. They could have done something better. I understand that usually, you know, they've handled it differently throughout the years. They need to make sure that it's not going to snap, because the original toys had a problem where the wire was too thin and it would snap all the time. So they need to combat that. I think they're painted nicely. I would assume these were done in orange and then painted gray, which I kind of think is the better way to go, because then you won't have the paint rub off in the character's hands over the years. But I don't know. This is just a weird... Even if it was just like a loop, I think I would rather just have like a chain, just a simple loop. This weird specific configuration is kind of strange. Like, just having him hold it, it looks so unnatural. Like, these would obviously never stay like this while someone's just holding them. So, that's my only complaint there. The Mikey figure itself looks great. You know, maybe you can get some nunchucks from a previous figure or release or something like that, and he could use those. But, yeah, the figure itself, I think, is a lot of fun. I really like the design. He can kind of kick the best out of everyone because, again, the way his shell is formed, it's the smallest of everyone, so he can kick the most forward. But yeah, he's a really fun-looking figure. I just don't love his nunchucks. I don't hate them, I just don't like them that much. And then, of course, his little turtle friend. So, very, very cool there. His weapons rack, he's got two shuriken here. He's got the ooze canister. He's got the smallest piece of pizza, which doesn't make sense for Mikey. And then he's got these, like, microphone nunchucks. Which, again, see, this is kind of what I would have liked. Just had those other ones just be something like that. Would have been fine. And then he's got this big chain weapon here on the side. So, again, ton of accessories. I'm not going to probably pop these off, but if you decide to, there's a ton of stuff you can give these characters. And they look good. Like I said, nicely painted, nicely articulated. A crazy amount of accessories, all for $10 a piece. I think that's a steal, honestly. I think they are solid, quality little figures. And that's one thing Playmates does well, their basic figure assortment. They always have. They're not the best at the larger figures. They've had a lot of forays into trying to do, like, you know, NECA-style collector figures, and they're just not that great at those. But they can nail these basic assortments. These $10 figures is their wheelhouse. That's where they should stay. They do it very well. And these are no exception. So definitely check these out. Like I said, they are out today. They were street dated until today, the 25th, 26th, 25th. So they were street dated until today. They should be in stores. I know a lot of people were seeing them online. They kind of went active around, you know, 3 a.m. Eastern time, so midnight Pacific. Target has them online. Amazon has them online. Target has them in store. I would assume Walmart probably has them as well. I don't know that for sure. Because they do have a lot of Target exclusives, so I guess Target is partnering with them very heavily. They have some box sets that are Target exclusives. They reissued the Mutation Turtles from the 80s, which is fantastic. Just Leo and Raph for now. But big end caps, big displays at Target. So if you're looking for these, that's probably where I would head. But yeah, these are great. I love these a lot. Definitely going to be getting a few of the villains as well. Maybe some of the vehicles and stuff. Like I said, this is where Playmates shines. Their basic assortment line, the price is right, the figures are great, the vehicles are usually pretty great as well. So I'm excited and really looking forward to what else they got going on for us. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.